but I'm going to use this paint right here to show you how thoroughly you should be washing your hands. So I'm going to put as much in as you would think you would need to cover both hands, and then I'm going to scrub it like everyone else does. Now, this snow is heavy, it's wet, it's perfectly cold out. I mean, it makes the most perfect snowball and great for snowmen. So definitely some fun for those kids out there. This could do a lot of damage in a snowball fight for sure. So now once you're here, they're going to bring you to this tent over here where you'll be screened. Your temperature will be taken and they'll see if you have any respiratory symptoms like a cough. If you do not have both of those things, you will not be tested. Yeah, we're at the Calacino's Big Game Party, and of course I'm with Sports Director Logan Ross. And since we've been standing here, the water behind me has really gone down significantly, so hopefully some of those roads are seeing some clear as well. Today marks the grand opening of the brand new Mountain Valley Elementary School, home of the Mountaineers. As you know, today is one of the busiest days to travel, and it's already been seen at the toll booths here today. Troopers ask that when you do get pulled over, you put your hazard lights on, roll down your window, and keep your hands on the wheel where they can see them. Now, if I take this Lysol can and spray it from here,
I get sprayed all the way over here, 6 feet away.
Eating dinner at a table, taking a shower, or laying your head on a pillow at night are some things we might take for granted. But Edward Rudisill and his girlfriend went without those things for months.
It's been hard. It's been rough. Hard on the relationship. Very stressful. Very depressing. I lay awake at night, can't hardly sleep, trying to figure out what our next move's going to be.
In 2016, floodwaters ripped through their home, wreaking havoc. Months later, they were approached about a new program called RISE, a disaster recovery program.
She comes to me and tells me they got a new program coming up that where they would, if I would agree to it, they would tear my house down and build a new one.
In May of 2019, Rudisill signed papers with a RISE representative who he says told him the new house would be move-in ready within 60 days. Today, he, his girlfriend, and their dog are left bouncing from couch to couch of their friends or family, or spending the cold nights in their car. As Rudisill looks at the foundation of what used to be his home, he waits for answers. We went to find those answers. We started with phone calls to RISE, Thompson Construction Company, and an ally to Rudisill, Senator Stephen Baldwin. We were unable to get in touch with a representative with RISE. Senator Baldwin told us Rudisill is not alone.
There are other people in very similar circumstances, unfortunately.
In Baldwin's opinion, the issue is the string of contractors used by RISE to get these homes rebuilt.
And so Thompson's the main contractor, but they sub out some work to some people and sub out other work to other people and sub some work out 3 or 4 times before it actually gets done.
We were able to speak with a project manager with Thompson Construction, who tells us they were not given Rudisill's case to review until 7 months after the papers were signed. In 2006, Wendy Pendry was pregnant with her first son. But she remembers one day, at 22 weeks, she hadn't felt the baby move in a while. She decided to go to the hospital to make sure everything was okay.
I'll never forget the lady's words, and she said, "When was the last time you felt your baby move?" And that was how I knew, and that was the beginning of this story, my story about pregnancy loss.
That day, Wendy gave birth to Jackson, her very first son. But when he entered the world, she didn't hear him cry. She only heard silence.
The way I felt was empty, like I had to go home. I didn't have the babies.
She knew her and her husband were meant to have a family. So they tried again, and in a few short months, Wendy was pregnant with her second son, Mason.
My doctors assured me that that would never happen again. Those are just an accident. Rare. I mean, it does happen, but they were explaining it to me like I didn't have to anything to worry about.
But she did have to worry, because at 23 weeks, her baby's heart rate was dangerously low. By the time she was admitted to the hospital and saw a doctor, the baby had died.
Do the whole process over again.
The second birth was even more traumatic, knowing that she had to endure this physical and emotional pain again to leave home with no baby. But after some time for healing and some tests, Wendy's doctor found that she had a blood clot condition, which was why she lost both babies. Wendy and her husband knew they had to try just one more time, and this time she was on blood thinners and closely monitored by her doctors. This birth, however, still came with complications.
The cord was wrapped around his neck.
But the doctors caught this danger in time. Wendy and her husband now have a beautiful 10-year-old Brendan. However, Wendy still feels grief for her other 2 sons.
When I see him, I wonder about his brothers.
That's why she holds a walk each and every year called Always in Our Hearts, to remember the babies that were lost too soon.
I want families to know their babies are always in our hearts, they'll never be forgotten, and they were a part of our life. And I don't want women to think that they can't tell their story.
These babies may not have ever been held in their family's arms, but they will always be held in their hearts.